Tesla just brought back the best car in their lineup, in my opinion, the long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3. I have had one for the past 6 years, and I've put 150,000 miles on my long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 from 2018, and here is my long-term review. I'm gonna go over my experience with the interior, the exterior, driving, maintenance costs, service, and most importantly, my battery health after 150,000 miles. Let's get right into it. And big thanks to Recurrent for sponsoring today's video, but more on that later. Now let's quickly go over the quality of the exterior after 150,000 miles. With my car, I do have paint protection film on the entire front end, including the fenders, the bumper, the full hood. So my paint on the front is basically perfect condition underneath that clear paint protection film, and PPF has not actually started to peel at all, really. It keeps the paint completely protected from rock chips. The biggest problem area on this car as far as paint goes is the rear passenger side. There are quite a bit of small, tiny chips in the paint on this area. I don't know why, but for the most part, the paint has held up really well. The styling is still looks really good. I think they killed it with this design of the Model 3. I have no issues with how this looks. I think it still looks good to this day. Only thing I would change is I do like the black trim on the newer cars. If I ever do put more money in the exterior, I'll probably do the chromed Elite because I think it does look better with the rims that I have here. Speaking of the wheels, you know, I've driven basically the whole entire 150,000 miles with my aero caps on my wheels, and I've just taken those off recently. And the good thing about the aero wheels or the aero caps is that it boosts efficiency slightly, so you get better range, but it also protects the wheel underneath. And I'm also disappointed in how easy it is to curb rash these wheels, even with the aero caps on. I'm pretty sure all of my wheels at this point have curb rash, but luckily I found an affordable touch-up paint that matches the wheel almost perfectly to at least fix it cosmetically, but the curb rash is definitely a problem with these wheels. I haven't had any issues with the cameras on the outside. We have, you know, exterior cameras all around this car. The glass roof has held up so good. I have no chips or cracks. You've seen from my videos, I've stood on this and multiple times and it's held my weight and hasn't cracked. So that has held up really well. I'm surprised that it hasn't had any cracks. And I've never had mud flaps on the car, and surprisingly, the paint at the very bottom has not started to peel or crack or anything like that. So I'm very surprised and impressed about that. There are some minor dents that I've picked up along 150,000 miles in 6 years. That's gonna be with any car, obviously. So for the most part, it's held up extremely well, the exterior has. And actually, I have never replaced the wiper blades on this car, and I've never replaced or added windshield wiper fluid. I'm super pleased with the exterior holding up as much as it has over the past 6 years and 150,000 miles. Now, the long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 is probably my favorite car to drive. It is the perfect balance of performance and efficiency. As with all Teslas, this is an extremely quiet car at low speeds. Okay, it's basically silent. But with my car, the 2018 Model 3, as you get to faster speeds, the biggest downside, I guess, of driving, and probably the only one I could really call out, is the wind noise. However, with the newer Model 3s, they have fixed that with the double pane wraparound acoustic glass. Now, having said that, with the right tires and with good tires on it, I mean, it is a very smooth drive, even at close to, you know, up to 90 miles plus an hour. And I'll be honest, I'm a fast driver, okay? I'm not a reckless driver, but I drive faster than most people. And it's quick, 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, plus the efficiency. You know, I'm getting a lifetime efficiency of 253 watt hours per mile, which that beats the EPA estimated efficiency of 260 when this came out. So it's quick and efficient. That's the best of both worlds. I'm able to weave in and out of traffic and merge effortlessly, and having just the single motor in the back, it feels light on its feet. The steering, it's very responsive. There are no squeaks or rattles. When it comes to charging, you know, I've never had a problem charging this car. Charge it overnight in my garage. On all my road trips, I've taken dozens of road trips, never had a problem charging a supercharger. The car takes me to where I need to charge along my route, never had to wait in line. One of the biggest reasons I got this car, the Tesla Supercharger Network. Here's a fun fact. When I got my car in 2018, there were about 5,000 or so supercharger stalls globally, and now there are 60,000 global supercharger stalls. Incredible. I charge in my garage overnight. I wake up to essentially a full tank every morning. And the only time I stop to charge is on a road trip when I'm away from home. My 150,000 mile odometer is in the 98th percentile of all 2018 Model 3s that are connected to the popular EV app Recurrent, which is also today's sponsor. Recurrent is a free service that I've been using for years to track helpful stats about both of my Teslas. It's designed by real battery scientists to analyze an electric vehicle's range and battery to provide transparency and confidence to EV owners, buyers, and sellers. It's a simple one-time process to sign up and connect your electric vehicle. Then after that, you'll get access to daily owner insights on range and battery performance, along with several other useful data points. You can see that I've saved over 6,500 gallons of gas so far, and my range is higher than other comparable vehicles. And when it's time to sell or trade in your EV, you can use the Recurrent info to show the current state of the range and battery to give the buyer peace of mind, which may also lead to a higher selling price. And if you're a first-time EV buyer, you can use Recurrent to check the range, battery, and tax credit eligibility on tens of thousands of used EVs for free, so you feel reassured you're making a good purchase. No data is ever sold or shared without consent, and battery data is handled securely with end-to-end encryption. Recurrent is definitely a must-have for any EV owner. Click the link below to sign up today and join me along with nearly 20,000 other EV drivers. So I'm about 10 minutes into this drive, and FSD has been driving me pretty much the whole time. That is just something that no other car is going to provide you, this level of driver assistance. The progress that's been made since I've gotten this car, it's second to none. I mean, you can't find another car that can drive you around like this, stop at stop signs, recognize stoplights, and the fact that the software updates keep coming and it slowly gets better. The fact that I can put in a destination into my car and it just drives me there. And here we go. Let's see what it is. There's a car that's stalled. Yep, okay, goes around, yep, okay. I mean, real-time proof, that was just amazing. Sometimes I am blown away of how I have a 2018 Model 3 with old hardware 3 cameras and has gotten better. I love it, and I use autopilot FSD every day, and on long drives, it's extremely helpful. You just put it on, you don't have to worry about it, you're not wasting your mental energy on staying in the lane and stop and braking and slowing down. It just kind of does everything for you. I mean, it's literally in the name, it's autopilot. You kind of set it and it's like an unspoken benefit when it comes to driving a Tesla. So when it comes to the actual interior, how it's held up remarkably well in my opinion. The seats, they're pretty much in mint condition. Other than where my head rests on the back of the driver's seat, you can tell that it's got some wear right there, but nothing too major. Other than that, the seats are almost in perfect condition. The back seats hardly ever get used. The passenger seat has hardly been used that much, but the driver's seat, sitting in it for long periods of time, and there are no signs of wrinkles or ripping or anything like that. And the only other thing that's kind of been wearing on the interior is the steering wheel. This is the real leather steering wheel, which got some rough parts on the top and the sides, but not a huge deal. You can't really even see it when you're looking directly at it. I can just feel it sometimes when I'm driving. The front dash is in perfect condition. I use some aerospace protectant spray on that, which has worked wonders. One thing I don't really like is the material on the glove box. It scuffs up pretty easily. And the interior is obviously very minimal, very basic. It's not a luxury interior by any means. You're going to run into things like this where it's kind of like a loose panel. This part of the car gets the most wear and tear because I'm moving in and out constantly from the driver's seat. The center console, it's got a tiny bit of wear on the edges, but nothing major at all. It still works great. There's no clicking or rattling, and I also put the center console wrap on it when I first got the car. So underneath, it's in perfect new condition. A Sentry mode is just an incredible feature to have that we didn't have when I got this car, and they gave it to us. Tesla gave that to us in a software update. So now, my car is a surveillance camera at all times, and it records from all the cameras around the car, which is a big plus. That's another thing. You probably can't find another car. I don't know if there's another car that has that type of feature. That's a free software feature that Tesla gave us, which is incredible. I didn't even know that we were going to get that. Even though this car is starting to not be eligible for some of the newer features on the software updates, this car still does get the latest software updates and gets new features added constantly. And this is an older screen, an older processor, and the screen is still pretty snappy for being 6 years old. It's responsive. I can pull up Spotify. But yeah, I've never had a problem with the screen. It's worked great. I'm very surprised that it's held up in the heat because this car gets super hot in the summertime. The screen has had no issues with the heat. This 15-inch touchscreen is the star of the show, and it's awesome. It's dynamic. It gets changed with updates, hopefully for the better. But having a screen that has the navigation this big, so helpful. You know, the storage in this car is the best in my opinion when it comes to this car of this size, like a compact slash mid-size sedan. A good decent sized trunk with that sub trunk area where I can put a cooler down under there, and the front trunk. Other cars, other EVs have considered themselves having frunks, but not like this. If I can't put a luggage bag in the frunk, it's not a real frunk. Even though it doesn't have a hatchback, it's still like seats fold down. I can fit large items in there if I need to. And having the app is just another convenient feature that sometimes I forget about. You can do so many different things with the app. You can preheat it, you can cool it down. If it's cold outside or if it's hot outside, you enter the car in a very comfortable temperature. It melts the ice if it's in the wintertime and there's snow or ice on your windshield. You precondition it. It takes the thinking out of a lot of stuff. It automates a lot of things. And that's what a lot of people consider Tesla a software or tech company instead of a car company, because there's a lot of software and automation going on behind the scenes. I think that Tesla has really worked and proven that they are the best when it comes to software in cars. Okay, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. What is my battery like after 150,000 miles? My range when I first got this car was 310 miles, and that's the EPA estimated range. And one of the best ways to actually figure out the battery health in a Tesla is you can go into the service menu. It's hidden, so you have to know the password, but once you get in there, you can actually perform a battery test on the high voltage battery, and it takes about 12 to 24 hours to do. And I performed mine at the 150,000 mile mark. And according to Tesla's battery health test, this Model 3 has 83% battery health. It doesn't necessarily mean it's degraded by 17%, because my 100% battery range right now is 280 miles. So technically I've lost 30 miles of range, around 10% after 150,000 miles and 6+ years. Not bad at all. And Recurrent, the EV battery app that I use, says my range score is 98. It gives it an excellent score. And it says my range is roughly 290+ miles. Tesla actually says that they estimate their batteries only lose about 15% degradation after 200,000 miles. This battery has been amazing so far. And even if my battery were to die tomorrow, you can get a battery replacement from third-party companies for as low as $7,000 for a remanufactured pack, or you can get a brand new pack from Tesla installed for around $13,000 right now. I don't foresee this battery dying anytime soon. And the Tesla Stats app also shows that I have 68 kilowatt hours usable capacity compared to the 75 kilowatt hour original capacity. So again, around 10% battery degradation after 150,000 miles. Very good. Now, my Tesla Model 3 was a $50,000 car in 2018, including the cost of full self-driving and after deducting the full $7,500 tax credit. And that is obviously very expensive and way more than I ever thought I'd pay for a car, but I knew it would be worth it in the long run, given the potential savings from not buying gas or oil and having fewer moving parts than an internal combustion engine vehicle. Now, let me start with the fact that my Model 3 has never had a major urgent repair that prevented me from driving the car safely from point A to point B. So the reliability has been an A+ so far. And during the first couple of years, there were some minor repairs done for free under the warranty, such as my driver door handle retracting too slowly, the windshield wipers and driver door making odd noises, and a dead LTE connectivity board. And there were 2 out-of-pocket expenses during that time that included a $400 optional checkup that Tesla recommends at the 2-year mark. And I probably didn't even need to do that, to be honest. And I also replaced the $30 cabin air filter myself, which was super easy to do. Now, after my warranty expired, I've only spent about $1,500 on repairs, and the majority of that probably could have been avoided. You see, most early Model 3s had issues with the control arms, and Tesla even released a service bulletin that said they would cover it for free in certain situations. Unfortunately for me, my control arms lasted until 130,000 miles, but eventually my car started to squeak during turns and it was out of warranty, and Tesla said that it wasn't covered under that service bulletin, and that cost $1,000 to replace the front control arms and lateral links. So that was the biggest expense by far. And to be fair, control arms are something that nearly every car eventually needs around the 100,000 mile mark. And that was the only time I had to take my car into the Tesla service center for a repair. All other repairs were done by a mobile technician who came to my location, which is a huge advantage of Tesla. Now, the other big expense was when the charge port doors stopped automatically opening and closing. I could still open it manually and close it manually, but that was $300 to replace, which was very surprising to me. I didn't think it was gonna be that expensive. And I'm actually surprised that the charge port door has only needed repaired once, because it does seem like one of the more flimsy pieces of this car. So I may be wrong about that, given that it's survived multiple icy winters so far. Now, the other 3 repairs were around $100 each. They replaced the small 12-volt auxiliary battery, they replaced my driver's seat occupancy sensor, and they fixed my driver's side window buttons. Again, none of the repairs have prevented me from driving the car, and I think the cost of the repairs is fairly reasonable. Though the most frustrating thing is probably feeling that I'm at the mercy of Tesla service centers. I would love to have more third-party service options, which I believe will eventually happen. But one thing I've been very impressed with is the life of my tires, especially due to the heavy weight of EVs and the instant torque. I've been able to get around 40,000 miles on each set of new tires. I've had good luck with the Vredestein Quatrack Pros from Tire Rack, which cost around $200 per tire. I've never used snow tires. The all seasons have worked pretty well in the winters here in Kentucky. And as far as charging goes, over the past year, I've driven 20,000 miles, which is 50% more than the average US driver. And based on my Tesla charge stats, I spend around $40 a month on charging, with the vast majority of my charging happening overnight in my garage when electricity is the cheapest. And that is one of the greatest benefits of owning a Tesla, or any EV for that matter, the convenience of never having to stop during my normal daily driving, and I wake up every day to a charged battery. And when compared to a gas car in the same category and price range, I've literally saved $20,000 by not buying gas or oil. And a fun fact is that approximately all of the gas and oil savings has paid for every single expense for my Model 3. So it's almost like getting free car accessories, free tires, free service, free repairs, free charging, free insurance, free annual registration, you name it. It basically covers that, which is amazing. However, the biggest downside is the depreciation. According to Kelley Blue Book Value, my Model 3's value is less than $15,000 right now, and Recurrent's best offer was $12,400. Let me be clear, that is a huge hit. There's no way around it. But the longer I keep my car, the more savings I will incur, which will make it a better financial decision. And I have no intention of selling my car anytime soon. I want to drive it 150,000 more miles out of it. So no regrets. So overall, is the Model 3 still serving its purpose to me? Well, let's see. Is it saving me on gas and fuel? Yes. Is it cheap to maintain? Yes. Is it 300 miles of range? Close. Does it have access to the supercharger network? Yes. Is it fun to drive? Yes. Does it have good performance and efficiency? Yes and yes. Is it reliable? Yes. And does it have the best software and driver assistance technology with full self-driving and the software updates out of any car that's 6 years old? Absolutely. This is the best car I've ever owned. I will continue to drive it. That is all for now. Thank you for watching. My name is Andy. I'll talk to you in the next one.